So heavy metal exposure and the health effects of children is something that I think is under thought about when it comes to emergency situations. I mean, we're thinking about day-to-day survival, and sometimes we're not taking into account the environmental exposures that some of these children and adults have in these situations. Often we're seeing some of these camps being set up close to highways, or they might be set up in areas that might be manufacturing areas. The heating sources are often, they're using diesel or oils that aren't the cleanest heating sources. There might be air pollution, or there might not be great sanitation or running water or adequate bathroom facilities for that matter. So with all these added exposures, you're not only increasing risk for disease, but you're also increasing risk for susceptibility to some toxic exposure as well. Some of the big ones that we think about in terms of development for children are lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and these are very often found in air pollution. They could be from car exhausts, from heating systems that you're using, for example, diesel. There could be contamination of the soil and where some of the food is grown, and so that can come into the food that they're eating as well. And all of this can accumulate and start to cause some health concerns with the child. Some simple things that we can think about when we are trying to avoid this. There's limited things that we could do in terms of environmental exposure, and there's even less that we could do in terms of adequate nutrition to manage it. But what we can think about is simple things, making sure that kids are washing their hands frequently so that if they're out playing in the dust, that they're not then putting their hands in their mouths and getting contaminated dust in their mouth. Discouraging growing plants maybe near a roadway or near a sewer system or a garbage dump site. Discouraging children from playing near a road. Maybe if you have a group play, moving it inwards a little bit, and you can actually get a significant reduction in the air pollution exposure by moving them away from the road. If there's smoking happening, and smoke exposure we often forget about, but especially if they're in a closed environment, secondhand smoke, not only are they getting exposure to the nicotine and some of the other pollutants that are in cigarettes, but cigarettes are also high in certain metals as well. And so it's important to think about that. And maybe just educating the parents about not smoking indoors, or making sure that the children are kept away from smoking areas. Thinking about also covering food up. If there's a lot of dust in the area specifically, making sure that food is always covered, and discouraging children, of course, from eating food that's been on the ground.